Donald Trump is threatening to strike on land in Venezuela, saying that he is going to get the CIA to attack Venezuela. This is what we really need right now, I think. I think we need another forever war, everybody. I was just thinking, what could we do? What could we do to really fuck up the bag? What could we do to really fuck this country? And there you go. Lo and behold, Donald Trump, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, he was like, you know what this country needs? Another Iraq, but this time with direct proximity. Like another Iraq on our continent, basically. Not on our continent directly, but, you know, in our backyard, as close to our backyard as possible. That's awesome. The mad lad, he's doing it during a government shutdown because the Republicans are refusing to even offer or continue subsidies so that people can pay for their fucking healthcare. Their costly healthcare, mind you. Their costly healthcare that keeps expanding in cost every single year, mind you. We don't even want to offer the Band-Aid solution to the Americans so that they can at least still continue existing and continue being able to pay for their healthcare without like losing an arm and a fucking leg. Fantastic, dude. Such lunacy. It's incredible. Everything fucking sucks. Everything is dog shit. And meanwhile, people are just so oblivious to everything that's happening.
President Trump considering U.S. strikes on Venezuelan soil to combat drug cartels.
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
The president also escalating U.S. operations against Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro. Trump confirming he's authorized covert CIA action in the country. But when asked if the agency has the authority to take out Maduro, Trump non-committal.
But I think Venezuela is feeling heat.
In a statement overnight, Venezuela accusing Trump of trying to legitimize a regime change operation to access the country's oil resources.
Would another Iraq cause incredible civil unrest, the level of Vietnam due to deteriorated living conditions? I don't even fucking know anymore, man. I don't know. I feel like there is no way that America recovers from that. I don't even think there's enough appetite amongst the military to engage in this kind of fuck shit. But what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. I do feel like there probably would be a lot more discontent. Like I feel like this guy is creating the conditions for an officer's rebellion, you know, like a thing that hasn't really happened in the United States of America in the past. It seems like it could happen, especially with like once I watched the Pete Hegseth Donald Trump like dressing down of all the generals, that's when I realized like this is actually so psychotic. Like this will be a danger. This I suspect will be a danger to the the Trump administration, unlike anything else. I think people discount how many fucking generals are hyper libbed up, and they think that like the U.S. military represents positive values like defending democracy. A lot of people don't realize that like some of those guys do unironically come from long-standing military families. They're very well read. They're huge liberals, and they think that like the American military is supposed to represent, protecting the American nation from tyrants and enemies, both foreign and domestic. So I don't think that like they're all going to be on board with like drunk Pete Hegseth running around and being like, that's right, we got to listen to more podcasts and become more alpha dog. But who knows?
Sources saying they would bring up the matter at the UN Security Council today. It comes after the U.S. carried out its fifth deadly.
I mean, this is famous. Like General Milley defends military studies of critical race theory. I want to understand white rage. This is why they belittled him. They called him Marx Milley. They said he's woke. They said he's woke and gay because he was like, I read Mao and everyone should read Mao. The anti-intellectual stint that this administration has really, really pushed, I suspect is making its way through all of our institutions. But I would assume that the American military, which has at least been like, in comparison to all of the other public services that America offers that have been totally gutted, the American military is probably one of the last remaining stable institutions. Obviously, it's not. Like, people will say, what the fuck do you mean it's stable? Have you seen the barracks and the places that people live in? Like, it's in a state of dire disrepair. Like, we treat the military active duty service members like shit. Yes, in comparison to all of the other public services and public structures that we have, I would go so far as to say that the American military is like one of the last somewhat competent institutions in the country. I don't think that a lot of the American generals are going to be on board with the anti-intellectualist momentum that has taken root, at least in the governance structure of the military, at least in the command structure of the military. Yeah, I think Hegseth and Trump should do these meetings where they insult generals once a month. Do it once a week. Historically speaking, military leaders love this. We're in a very weird place right now in the United States of America, and I do think that a lot of people are oblivious to exactly what's going on. But it is crazy that like the American military is entertaining just blowing up and not entertaining, just like straight up blowing up fishermen off the coastline of a totally sovereign nation that we have declared a foreign adversary, and claiming that we're doing that to like somehow save the Venezuelan population, and you know, like Maduro, hate Maduro, doesn't fucking matter. Ultimately, America is playing a very, very dangerous game here. Very violent, unrestrained, utterly psychotic force of evil on the planet. How else do you look at the situation and see it as anything but that? Check the tweet. He sent B-52 bombers to fly over Venezuela. Breaking, 3 B-52 bombers took off from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana on Wednesday and flew for hours near the coast of Venezuela, according to flight tracking data, in what appears to be a major show of force by President Trump. What the fuck? Will this cause all of the pro-NATO, pro-defense liberals to also say, wow, my president is being quite presidential? Is that what they're gonna say? Like, this is saber rattling, and it's beyond saber rattling. This is not like even paper tiger shit. This is just straight up entertaining war. President of peace. I'm Trinidadian, and apparently the 2 Trinis were on this boat that they destroyed, and our insane prime minister is defending it. Oh, thank God. Wonderful. I cannot. I don't know, man. I feel like this is so crazy. And it is happening at a time when there is already unprecedented, well, not unprecedented discontent, but like tremendous discontent, right? Like people are not happy with their day-to-day existence. Everything is getting worse rapidly at an alarming rate. Everything is shittier than it was a year prior. Okay. All this guy is doing, all this mad king is doing is basically, let's expand the conflict. You know what would be really good right now? A hot war in the Latin American continent. What the fuck?
The Trump administration's operation in the Caribbean first began in early September.
Has Venezuela ever done anything to deserve military offensives like this? Or is he just doing it for the love of the game? Yes, he's doing it for the love of the game. And because the administration is actually openly incompetent and doesn't even care to present like a good alternative, like I feel like if this was being done under liberal leadership, they would at the very least constantly talk about how bad Maduro is and how the only way to bring democracy to Venezuela is by directly engaging Venezuela with conflict and with war or something. But the Trump administration straight up is like, I'm evil, I don't like people, and I want to kill Venezuelans. Openly are like, they have a lot of oil, they have large oil reserves, I want it. And even if like Maduro were to hand it off to like fucking Chevron or some shit, I want it on my own. I want it the way I want to get it. It's just America is a rogue state. And the difference between America always being a rogue state by definition, because it's the hegemonic superpower, and America behaving like a rogue state now, is that they've taken off the safeguard. They are completely dropping all notion that this is a valid act, a valid and necessary and just act. In the past, they would at least try to present an argument as to why this must happen. Present an argument that like the Venezuelans will welcome us as liberators, shit like that. That's not happening anymore. There's no longer even a need for the admin. They're just like, nope, this is it. We're doing it. Fuck you gonna do about it? That's the attitude. It's pretty crazy.
They have faster boats.
It's crazy.
Some of these boats are seriously, I mean, they're world-class speedboats. But they're not faster than missiles.
Like, no one is even asking the question, like, why we have no business being there. Okay, we have no business. We have no business overtaking the territorial coastline of a foreign adversary. Like, that's crazy. That's so insane. Like the argument of narco-terrorism, like combating narco-terrorism, is so fucking stupid and so hollow that like I don't even think most people who would be on board with militarism of this sort are capable of justifying this level of belligerency.
So far, the administration has provided limited details and no evidence.
So there's a 1 in 4 chance,
It's crazy,
statistically speaking, that one of these boats may not have had any drugs on it. We will never know because they were blown to smithereens.
In a memo obtained by ABC News earlier this month, the administration told Congress that America is in a formal armed conflict and that drug cartels are deemed unlawful combatants. Now, the Venezuelan government has repeatedly denounced the U.S. strike, saying they are, quote, a pure violation of international rights. Maduro calling them, quote, aggression all down the line. But U.S. officials accuse Maduro of facilitating drug trafficking from Venezuela, a claim he denies.
We have no business there, but what is Trump's business? What motivates him to do this? I think war is good for the war economy. Maybe it's Venezuela has massive oil reserves. It's not as good as like the Saudi oil, but still, this is a way to repackage the war on drugs that he's claiming he's doing, which is ironic because his administration's behavior, his administration's actions in terms of like interior removals, interior deportations, has actually restructured the entirety of the federal law enforcement apparatus to no longer focus on drug trafficking in general. That is also obviously not an apt solution for overdoses anyway. The most successful solution for overdoses was demonstrated by the previous administration, a focus on rehabilitation over incarceration for those who were addicted to drugs. Addiction being treated like an illness as opposed to being criminalized has been the most effective way to lower the number of overdoses. And yet, instead of doing that, this administration has decided we are going to go gung-ho on the apprehension and the criminalization of drugs. Meanwhile, they're not even doing that anymore. They're just using drugs as a reason to do whatever the fuck they want. They've decided that like the new meta is claiming that like drug traffickers are narco-terrorists and that they're combating terrorism, but on the narcotics front, they're combating narco-terrorism. That's just the way they operate now. It's I don't know. It's just like a very it's a very shittily put together argument that doesn't make any sense and can't even withstand like a little bit of scrutiny. And the Trump administration is taking advantage of the reactionary forces in American culture and in American society to expand on this, to say, oh, it's not even just that we are going to go after the drug traffickers. We're actually going to present drug traffickers as terrorists and use that as an opportunity to do foreign intervention.